Hi, good morning and welcome. This is Sean, the EV bloke, and welcome to the channel. And yeah, I just thought I'd give a quick update since my last sort of review. One or two things that I kind of missed off in that review, and that kind of thing. And yeah, just to give some general updates, to answer one or two questions I've been asked as well, regarding route planning and the navigation and stuff like that. So we'll go over that in a minute. But yeah, it's been holding up well. The efficiency in the car's been pretty good. I've done an efficiency test the other day. I'll put that video up soon, and I got about 220 miles in. Well, I live in the southwest and Gloucestershire, and the weather's always bad here really, so it was the challenges were the weather and all that kind of thing, you know. But anyway, I thought it was pretty okay for the time of year and temperatures we've been getting. It's currently 6 degrees on Thursday morning here, and yeah, but it's been holding up. It's been holding up okay. I found out how to do the trip meters now. I did mention about the trip before. I think someone put a comment about how to do it really, and it's basically on this stalk here. So you just press that and scroll through. So if you've not found the trip meters yourself, that's where they are. So you've got the overall. So I've done 1,217 miles now in about a month, and not crazy miles, but been using the car, as you can see. And then there's the trip A, trip B, and that's it. And then it just scrolls back. I thought it was actually in the screen, and I was scrolling up and down and trying to find from this here. Where is it? From this feature here, you can actually bring up and scroll to the different menus, and I thought it was something to do with that, but of course I realized then after it was actually that button on the side there. So I located that. One thing I wanted to mention on the materials in this car, because I never went over the materials in the car at all really, and of course that is a bit of a feature of this car in the sense that they're slightly unusual. You've got this kind of rubbery textured feel here, which I understand is meant to look like muscle sinew, because the interior of this car is based on a gym, which is I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard one or two journalists mentioning it that way. But what I wanted to say about it is, when you get rain or anything coming in, like on a rainy day like this, if I put the window down to, you know, for whatever reason, throw something out or whatever, shouldn't be throwing anything out, but if I put the window down, or the window's down a bit, and any rain gets in and seeps down, it seems to somehow half stain this, and I have to spend a bit of a time. There's like a bit of a mark there. I don't know if you can catch it on the camera. There's a kind of a bit of a streaky mark down here, and it don't seem to really come off. So something to just be a bit wary of with this car. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows of any good cleaning material that works well on this kind of surface or anything, or whatever, but generally speaking the materials are holding up well. This is fairly hard up here, but it looks okay. I like this brushed metal plastic is what it is. I say brushed metal, it looks like a brushed metal, but it's actually a plastic really, but it looks really nice, and the whole swooping effect of the interior I like anyway. Some features on here, we'll do a proper review of this, but just I'm just waiting to pick up my wife actually, so I just thought I'd do a quick vid while I'm waiting. And yeah, if you go into here, if you go into the this setting here, you come up with this screen here. So the way you get to that is if you're on AC, so that's your setting there to set your temperature and direction of everything from there. But if you come down here to air purification, which is something that's quite a unique thing on this car, is you've got a quick purification model, quick purification mode. So basically you just press that. So if there's in a congested area, or if you're in a high polluted area, you can just press on that and it just clears any sort of pollution that's inside the vehicle. So really good feature that, and I've used it a few times as well, so it does work. And yeah, it's really good. So if you're in a built-up area going through a city, you're stuck in stop-go traffic, and it's, you know, yes, of course you can shut off the outside flow, but if any pollutants are getting in, it will detect it on here. And up in the corner here you have a it tells you the levels inside the vehicle and outside the vehicle. So it will actually tell you about that. So yeah, so I just thought I'd show that really quickly. Outside of that, this is holding up well. Let's have a look at the navigation. So you've got the climate controls down here, but you can ask BYD to help you with virtually any functions in the car. So if you're driving along and it's too hot and you don't want to start mess-arsing around over here with the screen and everything, you can just literally ask it, temperature 25, you know, lower fan speed to 2, anything like that, and it will actually do it. So no issues that way. Right, if in terms of the navigation, let's go into there. Now let's see if we can route somewhere and see what kind of sense we get out of these maps. I did mention briefly in the last video that I think the mapping system is just unusable virtually in this car, really, which is actually quite disappointing, I've got to say. You know, when you think in virtually every mobile phone is components of BYD, and they make the Blade battery, you know, this revolutionary kind of amazing battery that you know has great way of containing density within it to give you better mileage, to give you better longevity for the battery and everything. If they can use that sort of technology, they should be able to do a decent routing system. I keep saying routing system, routing system. But let's just try and do a navigational trip, shall we? So from my location or something, let's just do, I don't know, let's say to say Edinburgh, yeah. So we pressed Edinburgh, so Edinburgh, let's just click on that and see how it routes. So we've got our routing thing in there, so it's going to take 6 hours and 1 minute. Now as far as I can see, it's not even, which is beyond the range of the vehicle. So let's just press go a minute and see if it does anything.
Guidance will start now.
Oh, it's on avoiding highways there, so that won't be very good. Why is it on that? Let's just try and get that off. How would I do that? Setting, avoid routes. Okay. Oh, it's got all this avoidance there. Right. Okay. So rerouting. Okay. 15:10. It's given me a time of arrival there, which in itself is actually crazy, because let's just go back and do another reroute again. No. Let's just do somewhere else. Let's do where are we? Let's just do Glasgow. And there. Right, so it's routing it. Add to trip. I can't actually see at this point whether there is actually any so it's showing me charging stations near me, which is, you know, oh, was there one along route there? Nearby, near destination. Yeah, I mean, it's just, as you can see, it's not actually doing any routing at all from what I can see. So that's pretty poor, I would say, really, you know. There's a lot of things I really love about BYD cars, but you still feel they all also have a long way to go as well, you know. I mean, you can get into a lot of modern EVs now, even if we exclude, say, Tesla, which have a fantastic routing system on their cars where it will just route the whole way through there, charging, you know, charging infrastructure and everything, and you just get from A to B easy. But yeah, you'd still expect a bit more than that, really, wouldn't you? You know, so I just use the traditional Apple CarPlay, Android Auto in my case, and I just navigate that way, which of course works fine. But it's a little bit of a shame, because to have that navigation system that's built in, to be able to use that to route to your you can just use the infotainment system that way, then would be a much better way of doing it. But yeah, I don't know why that is, but there we go. In videos coming up, we're going to look at the vehicle to load. So we're going to have a little look. I'm just waiting for some dry weather. It's been raining for days here, and we'll have a little look at that, and how that works. And also we're going to have a range test on the car, so you can come on a trip with me with that, which should be good. And just generally, you know, just giving my sort of feedback and feelings about the car, and you know, giving you some updates on everything. I'm hoping to also get up to BYD to maybe have a go in some of the other vehicles, BYD vehicles, which is the Seal and the Dolphin, which are becoming quite popular cars as well. And so yeah, should be really, really good. Was there anything else I wanted to say? I can't think. You know, this is the old cup holder thing that I was telling you about. So you've got the cup holder here, you've got the bit down there, which is sort of like a little raised sort of filler thing really there to sort of raise the cup up, but then the other one next to it doesn't really work, so it doesn't really fit in, so it gets really difficult to fit in, which is a bit weird. But anyway, but yeah, the car's holding up really well, and you know, no issues with it really. Just be careful with this. If you get one of these vehicles, be very careful with this. Works really well. What I do with this is I leave my phone on there for about 20-25 minutes. It actually charges really quickly, so you can probably put in a half decent amount of percentage on there, and then I take it off. Now the reason for that is it starts overheating. Now that's a common problem in a lot of electric cars, where the wireless charging pads overheat, but it's particularly bad in this one, and I think some of it's to do with the fact that just above it is the heater vents, and obviously we're in winter at the moment, so you're having the heater on a fair bit. This area here gets a bit warm, gets a bit hot, gets a bit quite warm, so I think that also adds to the sort of doesn't actually help with the cooling of the phone really, so that's another issue with it. Needs a bit of a clean inside here, so yeah, be very careful with that. And then I just normally take my phone off and put it underneath here or whatever, or up on the support there, and just keep it out of the way of there then for a while. That's how I do it. I don't tend to plug in the USB cable, because they keep cutting off, or they seem to do for me, you know, whether it's this phone or it's a common feature, but it just cuts off all navigation for some reason at times, and then you have to unplug it and plug it back in. So I like to use the charging, but if I could use it wirelessly or it's not plugged in, it never cuts off. So so yeah, I tend to use the wireless charging pad sparingly if I'm on a longer trip. If I'm going to work or something, I just throw it on the pad and just leave it there till I get to work, because it only takes me about 20 minutes. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. But yeah, she's holding up quite well. It's a good car. It's a really good car. It's a good, competent car. It's just got a few things about it, as I suppose you would do with a lot of cars. One is the charging speed. I'm still not seeing that charging speed, and I think also it's the you know, it's kind of like the routing system. I would expect that to be better really. I should be able to, in 2024, in a modern car like this, I should be able to go to that navigation, I should be able to put in a route, and it should be able to send me to fast chargers. If I go into the filters and filter out all like slow chargers and low power chargers and everything, so if I'm just going up on the motorways, it should be able to route me with the mileage I've got left, and it should be able to route me in with a percentage, with a rough expected percentage. That's just basic stuff now really, and a lot of cars are doing that now, and I'd be expecting to see that on here but I'm not really seeing it. As I say, I used the navigation once. I just took my trust in it, used it, and it sent me down all these back roads and minor roads, and it was quite a bad weather day of that day as well, really bad weather day. And so I was worried about actually sort of meeting up with some kind of like flood, because it was a day when we had all them floods. And so I quickly turned it off and put the Google Maps on, and it was fine. It just routed me back onto the main roads, and away I went. So obviously a bit of work to be done there. It's only had one update so far, software update, which was basically to put on a browser. I think I went over this in the last video, can't remember. It put on this browser and a couple of other features. BYD store came on there, which wasn't there before as well, I think, if I remember rightly, which has I think it has yeah, it's got the browser. It's also got Amazon. Well, I haven't got Amazon Music, so I haven't bothered to download that, but I could download that. And I'm expecting in future you're probably going to get things like YouTube and all those kinds of things. Through the browser, you can obviously connect up to your own personal accounts for things. So I mean, I watch YouTube on there, which works really well. As soon as you go to pull off, it cuts off, which is brilliant. That's fine. But you've at least got that in the car when you're charging and stuff like that. I can go and watch things like YouTube and just generally go on the internet. It's quite handy that way. So we got that feature on there, and then so I think there'll be more to come. I've heard there'll be some. Oh, you've got this user menu as well. So the user menu is on there because doesn't come with a manual. So that works out quite well. But it's a really decent car. It's a good family size car. We all fit in it well as a family, even though we're not in it that much as a family, because my children are a bit older now, but when we do, it's there. The goodness of that is there. And it's got a great ride comfort to it. One thing I have noticed that is quite sensitive, when I reverse out of my house, it's quite a wide expanse where I have to reverse to straighten myself up and then drive off, because I've got a parking bay where I live, and there's usually a van parked on the end. Now there's nowhere near even sort of going into it or clipping it, but this, you'll be reversing back, and if you go a bit fast, it just suddenly does an emergency stop and stops, which is great, because that means the sensors are working for thinking I'm going to have a collision. But it's actually quite a wide gap between me. Actually, it doesn't actually need to do that, if you know what I mean. So seems to be some slight sensitive thing there, but it's not a big deal really, because I'd rather it do that than not. If I've missed something and then I just go ploughing into my neighbour's car. But it's just a bit sensitive, I guess. And with all the rain we've had, maybe with rain droplets on the cameras, it's not quite picking it up as it perhaps will be doing. Great thing with getting this in the winter is you're seeing this case that you can see this car, it's very worst case. I expect to get more range out of this car obviously as the weather warms up, so I expect to get a bit more nearer the claimed range. If it's doing 215, 220 now in cold wet weather, I'm expecting I'll probably get 240, maybe even 250. It's a 260 claimed. Probably won't get that, but I might get 240, 250 out of it. I don't know if I drive it frugally. Who knows? But yeah, on sport mode, I gave it a run on sport mode the other day, and it does go along really nicely. It really does. It picks up really well, drives quite competently, especially for a small size SUV size vehicle. It gets up and goes when you want it to. But I just drive it around in normal or eco most of the time. Is it eco? No, it's not. It's not. It's comfort. Is it comfort? Sport, eco, normal mode. That's it. I tend to drive it around in normal mode most of the time, or eco mode. But yeah, so yeah, everything's holding up well in the car. It's a really nice car. I don't know if I showed you this for those with younger families. It actually has two ISOFIXs in the back, so you've got two either side in the back for the ISOFIX, and you've also got an ISOFIX in the front as well, which is pretty good. So yeah, pretty easy to use as well. So that's really good. So you can have your child in the front, nearer to the, if you're on a bit of a trip and the child's going to be in there for a while, it's not a bad thing. So that's a nice little feature there, I think. Well, it's not a feature, but You know, just useful. You do get them in the front, of course. It's not exclusive to BYD or anything, but it's more common to see two in the back and the front kind of gets left, really. But no, they thought about that here in the BYD. That's good. The upholstery, this material's holding up really well. Haven't had to do much to it really so far. Not had the car long, of course, yet, but yeah, that's all holding up well. I mean, you get in this car and you feel, the one thing you do feel is you've got good confidence to get to chargers and stuff like that. You don't have real range anxiety. You probably have more charger anxiety. Will the charger work, of course? But range anxiety, not so much, you know, because you do know you're going to get that you're going to get that sort of 220 out of it, even in the colder weather, really. So unless you're really hammering it down the motorway or something, but yeah, you know, it's been fine that way. So you've got confidence to go out of your claimed range, if you like, really, or at least for me, I don't have that issue or that problem or that worry. I don't know too much about the efficiency there. I'm getting 28.6. I don't know if that's good, bad, or what. I always go by miles per kilowatt. I don't know how to, anyone knows how to work that out, what that efficiency actually is, please let me know. Well, that says total. Let's have a look. So we got that there, and that's the past 50 miles is 5.2. Is that 25.2 miles per kilowatt per 100 miles? Don't know if that's good or not. But if you know, let me know. I'd like to know. So yeah, but this car is doing okay. Got these nice lights here as well. I'm doing like a proper review here again now. I've got these are quite nice. Just touch them and they come on, LEDs. And you've got them in the back as well, either side at the back, which works out quite well. So yeah, so that's it for now then. Thanks for tuning in, and please like and subscribe and help this channel to grow a bit. Like I always say, I'm not a professional motor journalist, and I'm certainly not a YouTuber really, so you don't get all the fancy music and all those things blended in. Maybe I might start doing that if I get time, but I'm quite a busy guy, so I just try and fit this in around other things I'm doing in my life, of course. So I hope this standard of video is okay. I mean, by YouTube standards it probably isn't, because you've got some really great YouTubers out there with fancy cameras and mics and setups and everything else, but this is just looking at cars really. So I just try to do the best I can with what I've got, and you know, I think I've got about 12 subscribers at the moment. So you know, if this really takes off, then I might consider investing in a bit more software and bits and pieces and everything, and really making a go of it, because this is not a job for me or a career for me or anything like that. It's just I have a love of cars and just really like to share. I think BYD is an important company from the electric vehicle point of view. They are going to be probably the leading car in the world for EVs. There's no two ways about that. So they are important, and they're still very new to the UK. So I just thought this channel would work in the sense of giving you a little bit of information about these cars to an audience that maybe don't know quite so much about BYD here in the UK as perhaps other parts. Our friends over in Australia have there's lots of channels over there now with BYD. That's really taken off over there, and there's some really great channels, so go and check them out as well. You just find them so easily really on YouTube. I've done it myself, and so yeah, really great stuff. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'll be putting some more videos up very soon. Honda E is still to come. I was just doing the old colour selection the other day, so hopefully that's all going to work out soon, and we'll have that on the channel as well. So that'll be some other different types of content for a very different vehicle, of course. And yeah, we'll go over all of that. Anyway, you have a great day. Catch you soon.